a.m. to 9 p.m. Now that's barbecue at its best.
'Cause everybody loves to eat at Sonny's. Barbecue at its best.
There's a hang-em high lynch mob coming to Aggie Land, but one Mala Hombre stands ready to defend Kyle Field from the Louisianians. Head 'em, heel 'em, and stretch 'em out. Tigers and Aggies. Live next weekend on Prime Network.
Jeff's back, and here is Casey Weldon set to go to work. He is now 2 for 2 as he guns it upfield to the 30 and out of bounds across the 30 at the 31-yard line. Eric Terrell, the junior wide receiver, who had 6 separate receptions in the victory over BYU on opening night. Rod McDowell, the left quarterback for Tulane, made the stop. Weldon opened up, pardon me, Keith, with a string of what he hit his first 6 in a row before the incompletion against the Cougars, and he's starting hot again tonight.
That he did. You see Terrell breaking out to the left there. Those 6 catches last week doubled his career receptions. Had 5 coming into the season.
Kez McCorvey is the wide receiver to the top of your picture on 1st and 10 from the 32. Weldon looks to set up the screen, and that may be pass interference. Loose ball, incomplete. They were looking for Edgar Bennett, and it was Batiste, number 54, along with Ruffin Hamilton, number 44. They were all over that one. You can make a case here for pass interference, could you not? Did the linebacker arrive before the ball did?
Double screen. Casey looks right, comes back left. We'll get a good look here. It looks like Hamilton, number 44, is all over Bennett. No call. Good read by Hamilton to break it up. Forces Florida State to a 2nd and long. Double screen threat setting up on both sides. Hamilton reads his key, comes to his right, offense is left, breaks it up.
Twin receivers in McCorvey and Eric Terrell. Terrell now in motion and on the counter. This is a busted play, and here comes Weldon. Bad connection with Amp Lee, and Casey followed Amp into the hole, brings it out across the 35 and up to the 36, maybe the 37-yard line. This was not a design play.
Not a design play at all. Weldon just rolls out to his right a little too far. Amp Lee was to get it on isolation action on his left, our right as we look at it, and now it's just survival. Get as much as you can and get down.
It's as if Casey thought the play was going to the right side. Everyone else went left. Well, quarterbacks make that mistake a time or two. 3rd and 6, however. And the line of scrimmage, the Seminole 36-yard line. Weldon takes the snap. Steps up. The pocket collapsing, and he fires it upfield, skips it up, incomplete at the Seminole 45-yard line, intended for Lonnie Johnson. And Tulane's defense, far more impressive this series than they were when they surrendered the home run to Johnson on the 78-yard bomb for a score.
Tulane with good coverage downfield. Weldon going to his 3rd read, the tight end read. Lonnie Johnson just settling over the middle, unable to get the ball to him in a fashion that he can catch it. There you see the numbers on player. Not a real good outing last week.
Kicking to Wilbert Urson. And he got this one. Hung it very high. Urson makes an over-the-shoulder catch at his 12 and is scooted out of bounds across the 15 at the 17-yard line. Well, Scott Player, the 5th-year senior, wanted some consistency. A week ago, he had knocked 153 yards, but also had a shank of 13. Bobby Bowden will be very proud of his senior kicking specialist there as he booms it 52 yards with great hang time.
Consistency is the word there with Player. Everyone knows he can do it. Can he do it when he needs to?
And can Billy Duncan do it on Tulane's 3rd series? With a clap of the hands, the green wave up to the line of scrimmage. Charles Herman, the 264-pound senior center, bends over the football. He's a Florida native from Panama City. A new running back, Sean Fagan, a sophomore, the lone setback behind Duncan. He'll take the football here and cut upfield. He dives across the 20 out to the 22-yard line. Kirk Carruthers, a senior linebacker, knocked him down.
Tulane staying with a 2 tight end, 2 wide out, just run the ball, off tackle, 1 back set. Get a good look at Carruthers there calling the defensive signals. Again, as we indicated on their earlier drive, the key now is to keep control of the ball. They were successful last time, although they didn't convert points. Another opportunity here.
A pickup of 6. Ballard to the bottom of your screen. He had that big 37-yard reception the previous possession, and this is a gaping hole off the right side for Fagan. Fagan Duncan out across the 30. That's a Tulane first down at the 32-yard line. And junior defensive end Troy Sanders, 261-pounder for FSU, replacing Carl Simpson, made the stop.
Tight end comes down, you kind of slide the guard and tackle around, and your corner gets blocked. There's a seam there. The safety has to come up. The linebacker gets cut off, then it's wide open. Tulane doing a good job of springing loose the sophomore running back out of Jonesville, Sean Fagan.
New tight end, Keith, and Scott Sanchez to the left side. Play action. Duncan up the boundary. Another grab by Ballard into Seminole territory. Inside the 45 to the 43. He got open. Richard Coase was with him stride for stride, a sophomore free safety, and Ballard made an outstanding catch, and the ball was well placed. It's a gain of 25.
Play action look, and then he pulls it back and hits it in the seam. Florida State in zone coverage underneath and behind, and Coase has to come over to make the stop. Clifton Abram, number 2 there, the corner, not close enough on the under coverage.
First and 10 in Seminole land. Down a score. Duncan hands it off the left side. Dennis, who sees a sliver of daylight. That goes away, but he's inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Big Howard Dinkins out of Jacksonville in on the tackle. The outside linebacker. Howard Dinkins for FSU, Keith, was not completely healed against BYU from some back problems that he had suffered in the fall, and he didn't have a great game.
Didn't get a lot of reps during fall camp because of that back, and he's having to play himself back into position here.
I'll pick up a 4. Second and 4 at the Seminole 39-yard line, and Chance Miller is lassoed. A loss of 4 yards. He was hit in the backfield and knocked down. The man on the stop was DeAndre Clark out of Winter Garden, Florida, the 266-pound defensive lineman.
Watch it working right to left. DeAndre Clark just falls in right behind a pulling lineman, and Miller doesn't even get an opportunity to get started.
That play really stung if you are a Tulane Greenway fan. And it was an exceptional play by Clark to come charging through. 3rd and 11. Miller stands back in shotgun formation with his quarterback, Billy Duncan, looking to convert on 3rd down. Throwing near midfield over the middle, incomplete. There was contact. The intended receiver was Jay Young, and here comes a late flag. Errol McCorvey was on his back, the fine cornerback. And that flag was about as late as you could expect. Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator, is about 4 strides onto the field asking, what was that?
I think that flag came from section 4, about 8 rows up. Very, very intense and studious. Mickey Andrews looking on, and he'll be more intense than he is studious on this call.
Defensive pass interference. Automatic first down at the spot.
Well, in Rod Daly's defense, the referee, there was obvious contact.
All right, you be the judge. It's the right arm. The right arm is what gets on his helmet and shoulder pad. You talk about Mickey Andrews, here's his philosophy. You don't reach greatness on ability. You reach greatness with ability and a lot of hard work.
A lot of fundamentals in his 25th year of college coaching. One of Bobby Bowden's great staff members. It is 1st and 10. Down a touchdown early. And for the, well, let's see. This was not a delay of game, but it is a procedure call. An outside performer moved, or rather an interior lineman moved prior to the snap, and that will cost Tulane 5.
Ball. Illegal procedure. Interior lineman moving. 1st 15.
In terms of penalty yards tonight, that's the 3rd time that a 5-yard infraction has been marched off against Greg Davis's ball club.
Florida State guilty of 11 infractions for right at 100 yards last week. We're already seeing Flag Day here at Campbell Stadium here in the 1st quarter.
At the Seminole 41-yard line, Duncan down the line. This is Chance Miller bouncing outside, lowers his head, is cracked at the 35 and shoved across the sideline by Terrell Buckley with help from LaVon Brown, the strong safety number 31. We ought to mention LaVon Brown getting the nod tonight in place of John Davis for Florida State. Brown Brown, the junior from Moorhaven, Florida. He's about number 4 on that strong safety depth chart, but if there is one position in the secondary that's beat up and bruised early, it is the strong safety slot, and Brown opens tonight for FSU.
Brown, a free safety last year. Actually, third team, as you mentioned. John Davis hasn't practiced all week with a bad back. Number 2, Chris Hall, was hurt in Monday's practice, forcing Levon into action in the base defensive scheme.
Dangerous Steve Ballard, who's burned the nose twice, is flanked at the bottom of your screen. Miller, again, will drive for a first down. Ramming the ball inside the 25 and keeping those legs going. He runs into Leon Fowler, the free safety, and Troy Sanders from the defensive line at the Seminole 22, and Tulane is driving on Florida State.
Nothing fancy. Carruthers misses a tackle. Jones runs out of place. Fowler has to come up and do the job. 5'9", 195 pounds, and trust me, folks, he's not intimidated by anything going on here tonight.
There is a timeout taken on the field, called by Florida State, trying to slow down Tulane. And we'll be right back after these words from Olive Garden Italian Restaurant, where all the best of Italy is yours.
Impossible? At the Olive Garden, we don't know the meaning.
Florida State before 60,000 fans in jam-packed Doak Campbell Stadium leads by a touchdown, a 78-yard Casey Weldon, who is tight end in Lonnie Johnson for the score. But right now, young quarterback Billy Duncan is driving Tulane against America's #1 ranked team. And this is a young man making only his second collegiate start. And while he was shaky early, he certainly has settled down. Florida State playing its very first game in history, ranked #1 in the nation in this stadium. At the Seminole 22, Miller again dances outside, and he's a yard shy of another first down. Fowler from the secondary comes up to make the stop. How is he doing that, Keith? That left side of the line is giving him some daylight, and Miller is relentless, methodically ramming for 6- and 7-yard gains.
All Tulane is doing is coming with the 2 tight ends, whichever side Florida State goes strong to. You'll see here Florida State strong to the right side as we look at it. So they call an audible and they work to the left side. You got everyone matched up, and if the free safety doesn't come up quick and if a linebacker gets scraped, there's a seam there. He can run forever.
This is the 10th play of the drive for Tulane, and again they make a mistake. Eric Fillmore, the left tackle, number 74, jumped. That'll cost him 5 yards. Back they go. And out comes Fillmore.
Fillmore, a junior, but a JC transfer. So this is actually his first season under Davis's offense.
Dead ball. Procedure. Interior lineman moving. Second down.
Out is Fillmore. Replacing him as the starter, number 75, Vernest Ernst. And to Ernst's left side, Wilbert Urson is the split end. The flanker Ballard to the bottom of your picture. The big one for FSU is that pass interference call. 2nd and 6 now as the ball is pushed back to the 18. Duncan calls it at the line of scrimmage. Time winding down, he'll get it off. He's floating it for the corner and Ballard cannot make the grab. Buckley was there. Well, you now have put Buckley on Tulane's most dangerous receiver early in Ballard. That will be an interesting matchup throughout the evening.
Well, Ballard's used to making big catches. He had the touchdown reception that whipped Syracuse last year in a big upset, Tulane over Syracuse. Buckley with a great job of coverage there. It's so hard when that ball is floated in the air and underthrown for the defensive back to A, keep from interfering, or B, the receiver to see it and come back and get ahead of him and make the reception. Great job by Buckley.
Duncan has completed 3 passes. He is 3 of 7 for 75 yards. And Tulane is going to call timeout facing 3rd and 6 at the Seminole 18-yard line. And that's not an unwise thing to do. You have to admire that, for this is their best shot. They have driven the ball twice, but never quite this deep, Keith. And they won't get this opportunity too many times, and their best chance to not to score at 7-all.
Exactly. Tulane doing a great job of keeping FSU's offense on the bench, the defense for Florida State on the field. Duncan and Davis, and you see Jerome Woods there, number 16, planning a little strategy. Very important for them to convert every opportunity they have into points.
His head coach, and Greg Davis, said, look how long it has taken George Welsh at the University of Virginia and how long it took Bill McCartney at Colorado to turn those two programs around. Here I am in my 4th season. Just give us a chance, and we will get the best collection of players here that can win for a university that is geographically at a disadvantaged position between the Southwest Conference and the Southeast Conference, and academically it's challenging for Tulane, is somewhere between Rice and Harvard. But Davis has done a fine job, and certainly his game plan is effective here. It is 3rd and 6. At the 18, the blitz is on. Duncan fires toward the end zone. Urson cannot make the catch. He was open. What a move he had laid on the FSU defensive back in McKnight. We'll check that. That was McKnight. It was. He put a move on him, and had the ball been a bit lower, that's a catch, if not a score.
Knight stumbles, the ball just a little bit overthrown, or Urson would have been right there. Florida State coming with pressure, man-to-man coverage. McKnight in on the nickel defense. Urson gets open. Duncan just misses him.
Field goal time here for tiny Gary Butler. He stands all of 5'6". This will be a 35-yard poke for him into those narrowed goal posts. Angle to his right. Duncan Holt puts it down, and Butler kicks it. Plenty of leg, and it is good. Tulane is on the board with 4:16 remaining in quarter number 1. Your score: Florida State 7 and the Green Wave from New Orleans 3. The confidence beginning to show in Tulane. Rattled early. Duncan drove them. What'd that take? 15 plays to get that done, and Butler drills the 35-yard field goal.
For those of us with good memories, or those of us that have cheated and looked at last year's game notes, you'll remember Florida State was up only 10-0 in the Superdome last year before pulling away from Tulane in the second half. Tulane has always played Florida State tough in the first half. People get a little cantankerous when you talk about, oh, Tulane can't be that tough, because the average margin of victory here at Campbell Stadium is 41 points in the 4 meetings they've had here. But Tulane always playing Florida State tough, and let's never forget about the fact that Florida State went to the Superdome in 1983 and actually lost the ball game to Tulane, the first meeting ever. Subsequently, Tulane had to forfeit for an ineligible player.
For FSU, twin safeties deep. Tiger McMillan, number 33, along with Marquette Smith. Standing back at their 10-yard line, they're telling us there that they don't believe Gary Butler will kick this ball into the end zone. This is Marquette. It's off his fingertip. He picks it up at the 5 and heads the other way. Hit hard at the 15-yard line. And a late white jersey in there too, but no flag. And the ball marked at the 16-yard line is Marquette Smith, the true freshman from Castleberry, Florida, and the USA's High School Player of the Year for a season ago. Brings that one back. Brandon Hamilton made the tackle. Rather than 15 plays, that was a drive of a dozen. Covered 65 yards, and most importantly, Keith, took 4:08 off the clock and kept the ball away from Florida State's offense.
Florida State's intensity not good on the last series. From the offensive side, we'll see what Casey and company can do.
Here is Ampli trying to turn on the voltage. Yeah, he does. How does he make people miss like that? Ran through 2 tackles at the 20 and out to the 24-yard line, a yard shy of a first down. The weak side linebacker, Shane Wiegand, a sophomore from LaPorte, Texas, number 47. Was in on the tackle there. Wiegand made 10 stops last week against SEC member Ole Miss.
Here's a look at it. If you look at it, it just doesn't look like Lee's running very fast, but you just see opposing jerseys laying on the ground. They can't seem to wrap up on him. He keeps moving upfield with that, I guess, elusiveness.
On 2nd and 1, this is Bennett, and Bennett is stacked up at the line of scrimmage and driven back. He went nowhere. That's rare that you see Bennett have that happen to him. Darren McGowan, the defensive end, was the first man there.
Single back set with Bennett back there. It just never got started. Tulane doing a good job of pushing offensive linemen backwards and that not enabling Bennett to find a crease or a seam anywhere. He tries to bust it outside, but McGowan's all over him.
The freshman Kes McCorvey, wide left. Terrell to the top of your picture. Possession snap, 3rd and 4. Weldon fires. First down, Knowles. McCorvey upfield at the 29-yard line as he hooked up in front of Brandon Hamilton, the Green Wave cornerback. McCorvey earned a battlefield promotion to earn the start this evening. Matt Fryer, who had opened up against BYU, had a couple of key dropped passes, and he was demoted, and Kes McCorvey, the freshman from Gautier, Mississippi, promoted.
Just a simple push route that he turns out. Kes McCorvey with 2 catches last week, as you say, earning that promotion. Doing a good job of converting the first down.
1st and 10. The Noles with the lead and the football, and here comes Lee, shoved out of bounds and into the Seminole sideline at the 33-yard line. A gain of 4. For Ampli, a year ago, 16 touchdowns. Is the number there, Keith, that makes me blink. He had some huge games, especially toward the end of the year. He carved up Florida for 147 yards rushing, scored 3 touchdowns. 1 was a reception. Rushed for 86 yards against Penn State and scored 2 touchdowns in the Blockbuster Bowl. A gain of 4 sets up 2nd and 6, and Lee will take the pitch to the wide side and explode across the line of scrimmage and into the secondary for a first down. First down, Noles at their 44-yard line. Mark Thornhill, the free safety, made the tackle.
Florida State with 275 yards of rushing last week against Brigham Young. Lee with 75 of them. His partner in rushing up front, Bennett, had 98 of them. Just look at the nice swivelness. He runs kind of upright, except when contact comes. When contact comes, he gets his body down, his shoulders, his head, and everything into the tackler, and he moves so fluidly that that's what makes people miss.
Another first down for FSU, leading 7-3 late in the first quarter, and this is caught by Terrell at midfield, and he attracts attention at the 49-yard line. Thornhill on the stop. It's a gain of 6, and for Casey Weldon, that is his 4th completion of this football game. On a warm night, Casey's breathing a little heavy there, isn't it?
Naked boot. Tulane does a good job of getting pressure. Watch Terrell catch the ball and then try to turn back inside. Great inspiration these receivers refer to, and that being Lawrence Dawsey, and that being the ability to run after a catch is made, and all of them are trying to follow in his footsteps.
Here is Lee. He'll have the first down as he dances in the Green Wave country. Inside the 45, Mike Stade cutting down about thigh high at the 42 of Tulane. Bobby Bowden says that Ampli is one of the 5 best running backs that's ever worn the garnet and gold of FSU, and what he has, you can't coach. That ability to make defenders with excellent position miss. BYU found that out the hard way.
13 carries, 75 yards, a single touchdown. Came out after he hurt his shin. Just a bruise. Plenty of people looking on and cheering on.
First down number 5 is followed up by first down number 6 and more. Inside the 25 to the 23-yard line, sails Edgar Bennett with Ray Benford, that stout Tulane middle linebacker, on his back. The gain is of 21 yards by FSU's number 22.
Single back set. Tulane, if you can do it, Florida State can do it too. Does a good job of making people miss. State actually gets turned around and comes back to help out with Benford on the tackle.
This should be the final play of the first quarter. Seconds remain. 7-3 Noles. Not this time for Edgar Bennett. Driven back at the line of scrimmage. Hit first by Darren McGowan, and that'll do it for quarter number 1. FSU, ranked number 1, has found that Tulane, a 41-point underdog, has come to this stadium unintimidated. 7-3 our score. More after this from Coors Light. The Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the right beer now. yards with 6 first downs apiece in an eventful first 15 minutes of play. With Keith Jones, I'm Paul Kennedy. We welcome you back on Sunshine Network to sold-out Doak Campbell Stadium in the capital city of Tallahassee. A bomb from Weldon to his tight end, of all people, Lonnie Johnson, and the PAT by Mowry, the 7 for FSU, and a 35-yard field goal. Off the toe of Tulane's fine kicker, Gary Butler, the 10 points registered in this home opener for FSU. Here comes Casey Weldon, the general. The line of scrimmage, the 22 as we open up quarter number 2. It's 2nd and 10. Weldon on the roll with interference. Guns toward the boundary. Terrell makes the catch. Fights his way close to the 15-yard line. And look at that. 7 separate white jerseys around it. A swarming Green Wave defense could not prevent Weldon from threading the needle to Terrell.
With a lot of agility and a lot of mobility, Florida State trying to get Weldon out on the corner to pressure. Terrell does a good job of getting low and protecting that ball from 3 Green Wave defenders.
This is the 11th play of this drive. Casey with 5 completions, and of the 10 he's already run in this march, 7 have come on the ground, 3 have been in the air. Here is number 4 in the air, caught by McCorvey. An outside spin. Well, it earned the first down. He couldn't get away from the score inside the 10-yard line. Brandon Hamilton, the sophomore corner from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's a lonesome feeling, isn't it, to be out in the flat there, Keith, with someone as dangerous as double 8s and Kez McCorvey.
It really is. You feel like you're a man out there on an island and being run over by a boatload of pirates. Quick step by Weldon. McCorvey's working upfield, just turns in, and now it's one-on-one. It's McCorvey and Hamilton. And the key there is to not try to make the big hit, but just latch on and don't let go.
The 6th completion for Weldon. And on the delay, an inside handoff and some pounding there. Edgar Bennett worked over pretty good as he works the ball to the 9-yard line. Ray Benford, number 83, the middle linebacker, in that new 4-3 scheme that Tulane has put in there. Hardy McCrary replaced John Devlin as Tulane's defensive coordinator. And this 4-3 scheme only allowed Ole Miss 1 touchdown last week. FSU has been limited to but 1, but threatens he. Can Weldon make it 2 scores? Into the end zone he goes, and he misses an open McCorvey. Make that 84, Warren Hart, the 258-pound tight end, and where McCorvey weighs about 182, he's 75 pounds lighter than Hart, but he was wide open.
What Casey's going up and telling Hart is that route is probably designed for Hart to turn inside and then move back to the offense's right, his left. So Weldon led him back like he was doing a spin move. Hart didn't complete it, couldn't get to the ball.
Weldon on 3rd down goes into the end zone again. This time it worked. The Noles came right back with it and scored. Hart, the touchdown. Seminole. Casey Weldon with not 1 but 2 touchdown strikes in the first half alone, and Warren Hart, who had a single reception against BYU. He says he's a better blocker than he is a receiver. Pretty good hands here.
Quick step, quick 5-step drop. Hart's just wide open. Weldon does a great job on a particularly easy pass with no interference and just laying it in. When's the last time Florida State had their first 2 touchdowns receptions to tight end?
That's the case here. Mowry with the extra point. 14-3 FSU. Casey Weldon has just hurled his 2nd touchdown strike of the night and his 4th of the season.
Watch this ball come right at you. Tight end release, works upfield, nobody underneath, and there's a happy moment for a big man.
Florida State with only 2 tight ends, they said, available this evening. The normal starter, the regular starter, and Marvin Farrell hurt his knee against BYU. And Lonnie Johnson and Warren Hart were to get all the work. Remember Reggie Johnson and Dave Roberts from last season and the season before? Both those guys have graduated. And it's up to Hart and Johnson to carry the load, and they've done a great job in the first half here. Here comes Brandon Hamilton from his 5-yard line. He slipped at the 15. He would have been leveled there by Seminole Chris Keene, number 37. Hamilton trying to dodge Keene, who you see in your screen, went down. Hamilton brought it back a dozen yards. Okay, we have said it before, Keith Jones. Important here for Duncan and Tulane to hold on to the football, or FSU will put another touchdown on that board rather quickly.
Well, they've proven that they can run the ball effectively. We'll see what defensive adjustments Florida State make to try to counter.
A rare I-back formation. Dennis Dotson, Miller the fullback. This is Dennis hitting the backfield, but he falls forward and saves the play. He gained a yard. The first man through, James Chaney, missed him in the backfield. 14-play drive, by the way, for FSU, covering 84 yards. Close to 6 minutes, eating off that first half clock.
Thing unusual is the right-hand column. Usually the time reads a minute and 38, 2 minutes and 12. That time over 5 minutes on the drive.
Corey Broadnax to the top of your screen in a moment, the wide receiver. Number 5 entering the game for the first time. Play action to Miller. Duncan comes to the boundary, or he tried to undershoot rather. In Dennis underneath. Incomplete. Let's check in with Barry Milligan.
Thanks, Paul. I'm on the sidelines with Mike Morris, the All-American offensive guard, who is still out with a broken foot. Mike, it's got to be tough for you watching all the action.
Yes, it is. It's the first game in 4 years that I've sat out, home game. And it hurt me real bad when I saw the team come out on the field and the crowd going crazy. I missed it, and I'm hoping that I have a speedy recovery. Next week I start running, and I just hope that things will be okay.
Well, they're hoping now to have you back for the Michigan game, but you were saying awfully tough timing-wise to come back and have your first game against one of the top 5 teams in the country.
I'm hoping the doctor lets me play next week against, I think it's Western Michigan, so I can get my timing down. Like you said, I can't go in there half-stepping against Michigan because they have a great defense, and I think they won today. I'm not too sure, and I really have to play up, to my best ability because, like I said, it's hard for me to come back, and I really want to show people that I can come back from a broken foot, and to show that I am, one of the top guards in the nation.
Well, best of luck with your rehab. Paul, back to you.
Thanks, Barry. Well, the Knowles have held, and here to punt is Clark. He'll be kicking to Buckley, and Terrell will have a return. Watch this from his 30-yard line. Here he comes. 35, headed to the far boundary. Dipping it to 40. To the 45, 46-yard line. Always dangerous. And we have an injured Green Wave player on the field, and a flag goes down 2. Often you'll get a clip in that situation when players are changing direction.
The flagpole is way back on the line of scrimmage, back at the 25 of Tulane. It's going to be interesting to see what the call is.
Florida State with the lead 14-3. Timeout on the field. We'll be back.